thank you, all of you, for being here today. And thank you for your support of Carolina. Thank you for your support of the Lineberger Comprehensive Cancer Center. Our state's been very generous over the years with financial support for our medical school, our hospital, and our research centers. But in today's world, that support alone is just not enough. And so your support allows us to do the kinds of things that we need to do. So thank you so much. As chair of the Board of Trustees, I probably have the best seat in the House of Carolina. I get to see all the great things that are happening, and we have an incredible amount to be proud of at Carolina. And much of what we have to be proud of is due to the health affairs of our university. The Gilley Schools of Public Health, the Dental School, the Echelon School of Pharmacy, the Nursing School, Medical School, our hospital, our research centers and institutes. And recently, we moved into the top 10 nationally in terms of research funding. We're almost at $800 million, which is absolutely an incredible amount of money for research. And our cutting-edge research generates new knowledge. But more importantly, what we're doing at Carolina is we're putting the new knowledge to work. We are translating it into new treatments, new therapies, which in turn are improving the lives of the citizens of North Carolina. And what a wonderful gift that is to our state. And nowhere is this more evident than at the Lineberger Comprehensive Cancer Center. As a board chair and as an alum, I am very proud of all of what we're doing here. And as somebody who's benefited personally from it, Curtis, I bet you took the over. Would you take the over or the under when I'd start to choke up? I'm forever grateful, and I will always be grateful. Now, for the next few minutes, I want to spend some time talking about my personal journeys. And I said journeys is plural because it's not only my own journey, but it's my mom's journey as well. I don't talk about myself in public very often, and so this is kind of rare for me. And the next few minutes are going to be kind of tough. So please bear with me as I work my way through. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story. 5 years ago, I went in for my annual physical. My doctor ran a PSA check on me, and my PSA, or prostate-specific antigen level, was high. Now that's not necessarily indicative of cancer, but it's indicative of the fact something funny is going on with my prostate. And so he ran a second test and confirmed the results were high relative to my previous years. And so he suggested that I see a urologist. So I contacted Holden Thorpe, who was our chancellor at the time, and said, Holden, who should I talk to in the medical school? And he suggested Caudill Carson. So I visited with Caudill, and he did an exam and said, you've got a hard spot on your prostate, so we probably should do a biopsy. And he introduced me to Eric Wallen, and Eric is one of our surgeons in urology. And so Eric did the biopsy. And this was, let's see, 5 years ago, December 9th is when he did the biopsy. So it's been 5 years. And a few days later, Eric called me and said that you have cancer. And many of you in the room have had cancer. And boy, oh boy, when you hear those words, those are some incredibly tough words to hear. But I'm an analytical chemist, and so I have a PhD in analytical chemistry, and so I analyze things, and I problem solve. So you can imagine I have been reading a lot and thinking about a lot, trying to come up to speed. And what I learned is prostate cancer in particular is an incredibly complicated disease state. And what your treatment options are really depend on a number of things. The nature of your cancer, how aggressive it is, how far advanced it is, the age that you are, and all those sorts of things. And so Eric and I spent probably 45 minutes on the phone talking about what the treatment options were, the nature of my particular situation, and I had communicated with him that I had the ability to go anywhere in the country to get treatment. And I wasn't limited geographically. And I was going to go wherever I had to go to get the very best. And I felt I owed it to my family to do that. And so Eric was very clear that I'm going to support you. I'm going to help you with the decision. And wherever you choose to go, I'm going to be there with you to help you and help you sort this out. So that was an amazing comfort to know that this guy, who I really just started to get to know, was going to help me. And so anyway, I contacted a number of folks, contacted Shelley, contacted a number of folks nationally and talked with them about my situation. And ultimately it came back that the robotic-assisted laparoscopic prostatectomy was the procedure that made the most sense for me. And then I said, okay, well, who are the best docs in the country in performing that procedure? And what I found ultimately was that Eric is as good as anybody in the country. And so I decided to work with Eric. And so I called Eric and said, let's get this scheduled and get on with it. And so February the 9th, which is a week or so from now, 5 years ago, Eric removed my prostate. And I stand here today, 5 years later. I'm cancer-free. I've got an incredible quality of life. And quite frankly, if I didn't know that I'd had prostate cancer, and I didn't know my prostate had been taken out, I wouldn't know I'd had prostate surgery or cancer. He gave me an incredible quality of life. And not only did he give me a quality of life, he essentially saved my life. And now, I've gotten to know Eric over the last few years, and we've had a lot of conversations about urology and prostate cancer and all sorts of things. And one of the things that became pretty clear is that we're not training and educating enough urologists to serve the need. As our population ages, it's awfully important that we have enough docs, and we don't have enough. And so Susie and I, my wife Susie, and I committed $500,000 to Eric and the urology department for the education and training of urologists. So we did that. So that's my story. And now I get to the tough story. And that's my mom. My mom passed away December 17th this past year. 3 years ago, at Thanksgiving, she noticed a small knot on her neck. And it was about the size of a pea, and by Christmas it was the size of a golf ball. And it was causing excruciating pain, and all sorts of it was really, really painful. And so we took her to a number of doctors trying to figure out what is this. And eventually we made our way to Carolina and spoke with Bob Esther. And Bob performed a biopsy on her. It turned out she had a soft tissue sarcoma. And from what we learned, there are about 2,000 to 3,000 soft tissue sarcomas diagnosed in the U.S. every year. And they're pretty rare, but they're even rarer in the elderly. So my mom's 85. And so we began a journey, and Shelley, you used the word journey, and journey is the word I think that well describes it. And she started working with Joel Tepper. Joel worked his radiation magic on her and obliterated the tumor, a series of treatments and whatnot. Now, Joel, I know we talked about this when she was working with you, but she was deathly afraid of radiation. Because my dad had died of cancer, lung cancer, and he had radiation back in the late 70s, early 80s, and it was pretty brutal back in those days. And so the care you gave and the advancements you've made in the treatment just absolutely are amazing. And she was very comfortable as she went through the treatment with you, and so appreciative of all that you did to help her. So thank you. So the tumor got obliterated. Destroyed. I'm not sure the word you used, but it was. I think you were kind of surprised by how well it got destroyed. But it had metastasized into her lungs, and so at that point we met Jinko Grilly-Olson. And so the last 2.5 years, my mom was under her care, and started out with chemotherapy. And the first drug didn't work, but a second drug was there, and the second drug did work. And this cancer she had was not curable. And so the goal at that point was to try to have as good a quality of life as you could and extend it as long as you could. And my mom understood it. And now my mom, I think I know where I got my analytical chemistry behavior from. It's from my mom. And she asked a ton of questions. She wanted to see every image. And you were so patient with her and so helpful in answering her questions. And that was just so important for her as she went through this journey. Eventually, what I'll call the collateral damage of the cancer caught up with her. And that started largely back in the summer. And then in December she passed away. Now what's interesting is she had a great quality of life through the past 3 years. She was productive. She lived independently until the day after Thanksgiving this year. And she was engaged. And she really lived these last 3 years. And she lived them well, as best you can, going through the things that she was going through. And, you know, I don't have the words to say thank you to you guys. Thank you. But I don't have the words to tell you what. But you gave my mom to us for 3 more years. 3 years we didn't think we were going to have. And what a gift. Thank you. Now I'll conclude with some things that I've watched and seen and observed over my time in and around our hospital and the cancer center and whatnot. And one is, I've talked to Shelley about this, one is just the culture of what we have here at Carolina. You know, our docs are technically competent. They're the best of the best. But that's just a ticket to get into the conversation at Carolina. We want doctors that provide great care and that work with our patients. You know, our patients aren't research subjects. They're not, you know, there to conduct a research experiment on. They're human beings, and they're treated that way. And the thing that I found for myself, and I found particularly from a mom looking through her eyes, it's not just the docs. It's the nurses, it's the staff, it's everybody has this mindset. And that's not by accident. That culture just didn't happen. It's because of leadership. It's because this is how we want to do things at Carolina. So Shelley and all of you guys, thank you for that. And another is the team approach to treatment. And my mom was very comforted knowing that it wasn't just a particular doctor that was working with her, and that might have been who she was working with, you know, face to face. But there was a team back in behind and that team was thinking about what treatments might be best for her. And it was also evident that Junko, you weren't thinking about just this treatment. You were thinking, what would the next treatment look like, and what would the next one after that look like, and explaining that to my mom and helping her understand that. And so that's just so comforting to have. And then finally, just the impact on the citizens of North Carolina. What a gift! You know, what a gift to our state. We do so much at Carolina, and a lot of what we try to do is to take this new knowledge we generate here, translate it out to our state, to make our state and our world a better place. And I cannot think of any place better where we do that than here at the Cancer Center. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for your support. We cannot do it without your support. Thank you.